A set of full-frame anamorphic lenses for under $3,000 sounds kind of like a scam, or at least a compromise. Also, does anyone actually need these? Or is Anamorphic just another kind of filmmaking flex in trying to achieve the ultimate cinematic vibes? I spent some time with these lenses, and I think I have an answer. Last month, I purchased a few Blazar Remus lenses. So I got the 50mm, the 85mm, and the new 33mm lens. And I bought them because, I wanted to see what the hype was about. I've seen them online everywhere, everybody's getting them. And also with the release of the 33mm, it's kind of wide enough for my taste now. So I wanted to see what all the hype was about. I got my set for around 2,700 euros, and each lens is around, I think, 800 to 1,100 euros, somewhere in that kind of range. And the rest of them are too, the 45, the 65, the 100 and whatever. They're all kind of around that price point. And they're also full frame, which is very kind of rare for anamorphics at this price. There are a few other brands that sell, full frame anamorphic lenses like Surui, and that's it. But from what I've seen, the Blazars are by far the most common. You can just see it on sites like B&H. But these lenses are designed more for, solo digital creators rather than like high-end production, high-end cinema applications. And there are a few quirks with these lenses that kind of show that. For example, these lenses are a 1.5 squeeze instead of a 2x squeeze. And that's mainly because most consumer cameras, like the one I'm shooting on right now, they shoot in a 16:9 format, not an open gate 3:2 ratio. So 1.5 fits that wider recording ratio a little bit better. But when I got these lenses, they came in this beautiful Pelican case. I'm pretty sure it's a Pelican case. I can't find any branding on it, but I'm pretty sure it's a Pelican case. And I couldn't pick the color of it at all, but it came in this nice forest green color, which is great. And I only ordered 3 lenses, but they came with 4 holes in it, 4 spaces for 4 lenses. So I'm feeling a bit guilty that I didn't get the 4th lens. So, I might end up buying a 4th lens, but, we'll see. The first impressions you'll get of these lenses is that the build quality is, great. They feel great. They're pretty small, relatively small. They're not objectively small, but relatively small. They feel great. They feel dense. The focus ring and the aperture ring are, pretty stiff, but well feathered. One thing you might notice, and I've heard a few people complain about, is the focus throw of these lenses is quite a bit shorter than what you would get in normal cinema lenses, whether that be anamorphic or spherical. The focus throw of these lenses is about 150 degrees. And I think that was a deliberate design choice because the price point and, the accessibility of these lenses being, marketed towards solo creators, independent creators, smaller creators. These solo creators might not have follow focus systems, whether that be, on camera or wireless. They might not want to rig their camera out that much. So they might just be focusing with their hands. I've done that before. I've tried focusing manually with my hands on these bigger, more expensive cinema lenses, both spherical and anamorphic. And the focus throw is so long that it's very difficult to do it with your hands. But with this shorter focus throw of 150 degrees, it's way more manageable to just, focus like this. It's way easier. So I think that was a deliberate design choice and not really a valid criticism in my opinion. The aperture also varies as well. I think the 85 is my slowest. My 85 is T2.8, my 50 is T2, and the new 33mm that I'm shooting on right now is T1.8. And like I said, they're compact, they're lightweight, they have a 77mm filter thread in the front, 80mm outer diameter. They're just kind of like normal lenses. They also just look nice. They don't have a crazy design at all, just this silver and black with red accents. It's a nice font, it's very understated, very simple, but I like it. I like the design. But what about the optical performance? That's, the whole point of these lenses is optical performance, anamorphic, right? And again, the first thing you'll notice when you put them on is that they look great. They look fantastic. The anamorphic look is pretty instantly appealing. You can get these lenses in 3 different variants. You can get them with silver flare, amber flare, or blue flare. I went for the silver, just kind of neutral, because I'm working with all sorts of clients. Some clients want a colder image, some clients want the normal image. So I went for just more of a middle ground, neutral flare. So yes, these lenses look great. It's the anamorphic look, you know, the look that you expect. The bokeh is nice. It has a bit of like this fringing flaring, or, you know, kind of being soft in the edges, which I really like. You know, it has a lot of character. But there are 3 big drawbacks to these lenses. The first major drawback is with the flaring. The flares in these lenses is nice. I like it a lot. You get a big, nice streak, you know, like I said, lots of character. But in dimly lit scenes, the flaring gets a little bit too aggressive and it looks more smudgy than it does aesthetic or like anamorphic-y. Like if the lens is dirty, you get that kind of effect, which is not ideal. But, you know, I don't do a lot of event stuff, especially not with anamorphic lenses, so it doesn't bother me that much. I haven't had any problems with it. So, you know, if you are doing more event stuff, maybe you want to keep an eye out for that. But the second major drawback is the biggest drawback, and that's the chromatic aberration. When you're wide open in T1.8, T2.8, whatever the most wide open any specific lens can be, you get terrible chromatic aberration. Again, especially if you're doing close-up shots. If you're doing wide landscapes, that's fine, you'll get away with it. But if you're doing like an interview, like a shot like this, the chromatic aberration gets pretty bad. So if you stop down, like right now I'm shooting in T2.8 and the chromatic aberration is fine. I don't really notice a lot. There's a little bit here in the background, you know, I'll point it out. But otherwise, it's fine. But it is pretty annoying. You can work around it, but it's pretty annoying. The third drawback is not as much of a big deal as the other 2. It doesn't bother me at all. But it is a drawback though. It is the fact that these lenses are a bit soft, especially when wide open. They're not razor sharp. Again, it's just character, it's anamorphic, you know, all that. And also, it's very trendy these days to soften up your image, adding glow, halation, blah, blah, blah. So soft images is fine. But just be warned, these lenses aren't super sharp. But despite these few drawbacks, these lenses are extremely popular. I'm seeing them everywhere. On Instagram, they're blowing up on B&H. I'm getting ads for them here and there. Lots of creators are getting them. But I'm seeing that people are either overly praising these lenses or overly criticizing these lenses. People are overly praising these lenses because they are, you know, finally good, affordable, accessible, anamorphic lenses from a company that's been doing good. I bought 3 anamorphic lenses and a Pelican case for the same price as a 24-70 f2.8, or around the same price, at least for me here in Iceland. So, you know, they're accessible. And people are overly praising these lenses because they're just anamorphic look and they're accessible. But they still have these drawbacks of chromatic aberration, softness, weird flaring sometimes. So I don't want anybody to be disappointed because of that. I'm also seeing people overly criticize these lenses because they're coming from a high-end production background, or a little bit of a higher-end production background, and comparing these lenses to, I don't know, Atlas Mercuries, or, you know, other spherical lenses maybe in the same price point as these, like, you know, Canon cinema lenses or the Nisi Athenas. Anamorphic lenses are more difficult to make, but also, in my opinion, these lenses aren't aimed at high-end productions, not even medium-sized productions. I think these lenses are pretty clearly focused on individual creators, very small creators, you know, like me, right? But my opinion lies somewhere in the middle, probably a little closer to being praising these lenses, because I think these lenses are a great deal. They're a fantastic deal. They're cheap, they're accessible, they look great. Yes, they have drawbacks, but most of these drawbacks can be worked around. If you have a little bit of control over your lighting, I think you're able to work around these drawbacks fairly easily, like I have. But I want to take a quick look at the bigger picture surrounding these lenses, right? Because today, everyone is trying to chase the cinematic aesthetic. Everybody's trying to make their, you know, YouTube video, their Instagram reel, their TikTok look like a movie, which is perfectly fine. That's what I'm doing right now. But the thing is, everybody is trying to chase that aesthetic using almost identical tools. modern cameras and lenses are so technically good that they don't apply any limitations upon the creator. So instead of being forced into creative problem solving, people, including me, default to the same visual trends and just start copying each other, leading to less originality, again, in my opinion. That's where these lenses come in, because I think these lenses help with that problem in two different ways. So first of all, it's a new look that's accessible to, small creators, adding a little bit of diversity into the whole, creator economy. And secondly, these lenses, not being manual focus and having a bit of chromatic aberration and weird flaring, you have to be a bit more mindful, and you are forced into more creative problem solving, which in my opinion is very important for the creative process and achieving kind of a signature look, being forced out of your comfort zone. So not only do I think that these lenses are great, especially for the price, they're a fantastic deal, they're also a great addition to the tool set that's available to us as creators. So if you're looking into buying these lenses and you're aware of the drawbacks and you think you can work around them, then absolutely go for it. These lenses are awesome. I love them. They're great. Go for it. Thank you for watching. Bye. Jesus. Sweaty palms. Woo! Very great.